In this tutorial, you will learn two simple methods that will help you to A/B test scenarios in make.com. So the first method works with a random number, but first let me explain what we're trying to do here. So we have over here a webhook, and in this example, this webhook is getting some lead data. It's going to get a first name and an email address, as you can see over here. Then what I want to do is I want to send either email A or email B. But so how are we going to do that? So we're getting the data over here. So every time we get a new lead, scenario starts. And then what we do over here is we have a set variable tools module. And over here, we set a random number. And we do that with this formula over here. So first we add over here random. And then we want to have two options, A or B. So we multiply this by 2. Then we copy this. And then we use the ceil function to round it up to the nearest whole number. So click save, and I can also test this to show you. Then over here you see now the random number is 2, and then here now it is 1. Let's test it again, and then it is 2. So it's always randomly 1 or 2. Then we go into the router where we have 2 routes, and then over here you see that we have a filter for each route. And then a condition of that filter is where we check if the random number, and then we use the numeric operator equal to is equal to 1, or in the second route, if the random number is equal to 2. So if this number is 1, we send email A. If this number is 2, we send email B. So let's just click save. Let's click run once. Let's see what happens. So here we get some lead data. The number we have over here is random number 2. So then you see that this filter was a match. 2 is equal to 2. So it followed this one. So we test it again, use data, and then you see again that it went to 2. Let's test it again. Then you see it went again to 2. Let's test it one more time. Then it's again going to 2. And this is also maybe the problem with this method of the A/B testing. If you run this thousands of times, then probably it's gonna even out because it's like randomly 50-50, 1 or 2. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Sometimes it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, and so on. So for that, I have a second method that I think is even better. So if you just want to have a very simple A/B test, then I think this would work fine. But if you really truly want to have send email 1, then to the next person email B, then to the next person email A, then you need this method over here with the increment function. So again, we have a webhook module. This webhook module is getting the same data. We have an email address and a name. And again, we want to send email A or B, right? But then now, instead of the set variable module over here, we now have the increment function tools module. And then over here, you see that we can reset the value after a certain amount of times. So we say after one cycle, after one scenario, or never. We set this to never, so that every time the scenario runs, it will add 1 to its value. So I can also demonstrate that. Click here, run once, use existing data. And then you see now that it is 1. If I now test it again, then you'll see now it gives us the number 2. Test it again. Then now it gives us the number 3, test it again, give it the number 4. And then what we do is we use this number in our filter of our routes. So you can see that over here, where we use this formula over here. So this I stands for the increment function. So we get the value of the increment function. Then we use the modulo operator. You can find that one over here if you're searching for it underneath the math functions. And then what that does is we basically have this number, we divide it by 2, and this number stands for the amount of possibilities that we have over here. And then the remainder of that is either going to be 0 or 1. So over here you see that we check if the outcome of this formula is 0. If so, then we send email A. But if the outcome is 1, if the remainder is 1, then we follow this path over here. And as you can see, maybe you already noticed it before, it will really send the emails one by one. It will always send B and then A, and then it's going to send B. So I personally think this method over here, it is a little bit simpler because we just have a random number, and then the filter is maybe easier to understand where we just have a random numbers equal to 1 or to 2. But personally, I think this works better because you really send every email one by one, and then we just evenly distribute that. Now, you can use the A/B testing for all kinds of things. Maybe also, for example, I don't know, you have like an AI module and you want to like test different prompts, something like that, then you can also do that. But personally, I think it's really handy to use it to A/B test emails. But if you want to learn more about routers and filters, then watch this tutorial over here. Then it will show you some different possibilities of what you can do with that.